and gently, 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 back to neutral. And one more, perfect. 3, 2, 1, and just like so. Hello, hi, I'll try to be as quiet as possible. I know a lot of your animals are most likely sleeping during this portion of the night. I've been informed that you've scheduled a chiropractic adjustment for a fox, correct? Okay, perfect. I'm always relieved when I've stumbled into the right place. Okay, so let me just get my notebook opened up. That way I can take some notes on what issues your fox is currently experiencing. Just give me a moment. Okay, let me grab a pencil. So, what is the primary issue that your fox is currently experiencing? Okay, pain in the neck and upper shoulders. Alright. Alright, and when is this pain manifesting itself? Okay, while your fox is foraging for food and just playing around the house, okay. Foraging for food and during play. Alright, and is there anything recently that might have changed or changes to behavior activities that could have caused these issues? Okay, nothing out of the ordinary that you've noticed. Okay. Well, I will go ahead and get my portable table set up. You can go ahead and bring out the fox, and I'll see what I can do to help your little friend. Alright, so just give me a quick moment. Just as you described, a perfectly healthy looking fox. Although I can feel immediately that cervical area of the spine is quite tense like you described, so I'm not surprised that it's dealing with a lot of pain while foraging for food or just while playing around your home. Oh yes, those vertebral. Yeah, that vertebral spine there area is just extremely tense. It must have sustained a bit of an injury at some point that's causing some residual issues. If I can just, one moment, turn your fox, you can actually see a slight bump in that spine, so we might be developing just a bit of scoliosis in that area, which essentially is just where the spine curves in an unnatural position or manner. This can be alleviated with our treatment here, so we will take that into consideration when we begin today. I'm just going to turn back to the original position. So I just want to check the movement and mobility of that head, and as you can see, the movement is very... See, I'm struggling just to turn it side to side. Let's try vertically. So we have a very locked up neck with very limited mobility, so I'm primarily going to focus my treatment around this neck area, the cervical portion of the spine. We have the lumbar section of the spine, which is the lower back or closest to the distal portion of the tail. We have this thoracic, which, as you know, Minecraft Fox, they have 4 thoracic vertebrae which operate the front legs, and then you have the cervical vertebrae which operate the neck, head, and all of the facial movements, ears, etc. So I'm going to focus around that cervical area of the spine and then a bit into the thoracic to focus on that scoliosis that's trying to form here in between the shoulder blades. Okay, alright. Well, I'm going to start with some gentle adjustments of the neck, so I'm going to ever so slightly position my hand under the chin. 3 fingers here on the back to give a bit of support, and we're just going to get a bit of motion. As you can see, that is quite stiff. We should have a lot more articulation of those joints in the neck there, but hopefully we can quickly alleviate that. So I'm going to go with a vertical adjustment first. We have 3, 2, 1, and just going to make sure that we check the physical reactions to those adjustments with my fingers here. Okay, once more. 3, 2, 1, and there we are. Checking once more. 3, 2, 1, and okay. And we're just going to repeat this process. Going to test that mobility and movement just a bit more. Alright, now we're going to adjust laterally towards me. So I'm going to adjust my hand just a bit. 3, 2, 1. And we're just really adjusting this side of the neck. So I'm going to feel and see how that's reacting to the adjustments. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Sometimes these cervical adjustments can be a bit frightening and sudden, but your fox seems to be handling it like a pro. You should be very proud. Let's get one more on that area. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm just going to adjust again, and we're going to have a similar adjustment here. 3, 2, 1. Sometimes they can be a bit stubborn, but luckily these adjustments seem to be cooperating. 3, 2, 1. I always like to make sure that whenever I am adjusting my hand placement, I always try to keep contact with the animal. 3, 2, 1. Alright, so let's check that mobility. So we are seeing a slight improvement already, which is good. As you can see, that articulation of those cervical joints in the neck are moving a bit more fluidly now. So we're now going to adjust it downward, so my support hand will be under the chin, and we are going to be pushing downward this way. Alright, so I'm going to slide my hand directly in between the ears and then on either side of the head for a bit of support. 3, 2, 1. fox is just doing so well. Very brave and gentle. 3, 2, 1. And just a bit of slight massage in that area. Let's test that mobility again. Oh, that's becoming much better. I think we are freeing up a lot of those muscles and joints. Alright, so now I'm just going to check those lateral portions of the neck, which are just on the sides. Okay, so I am still feeling a bit of tension, and that tension to my hands just feel like a muscle that is a lot more rigid and firm than it should be. And when those muscles pull tighter and tighter, it stretches and puts a lot of pressure on those bones that they are attached to, or I guess operate. So think of it, if you have a joint that should be fluid like so, but you have muscles that are tense, it might be pulling them and creating some tension here, or it might be pulling them too close and then getting some tension and maybe some bone on bone. That's kind of what causes that pain, and then an inflammation response occurs, which causes swelling and more pain. So that's what we are trying to alleviate. So what I think I'm going to try to do is just so slightly adjust your fox here, and we're going to see if we can align this spinal cord just a bit better and do something about this area of concern. So how I'm going to accomplish this, I'm just going to support with my left hand and use my thumb to press it downward on those vertebrae. So we're going to start here near the neck. Alright, 3, 2, 1, and just like so. Let's see how we are feeling there. Yeah, that's where we have a large majority of that inflammation. 3, 2, 1, and not too bad. Moving down a vertebrae. 3, 2, 1, and just a quick massage. I'm just going vertebrae by vertebrae as I feel that tension melt away. 3, 2, 1. There we are. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. 3, 2, 1. And once more near the tail. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Let's see how we are feeling. That area is already feeling like it's kind of melted some of that tension away, so that's going to help start to slowly alleviate the pull and swelling of this area, which should allow that vertebral column to slowly realign over time. What I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to try to ever so slightly move your fox to a side position. Alright, and let's just check some of the alignments. Oftentimes here in these joints of the legs we feel some issues, but your fox actually seems to be aligned rather properly, which is good. Let's feel the other side here. Alright, that's good. Okay, good. Alright, so I'm going to use this side position for a bit more aggressive adjustments on the neck. So I'm going to carefully slide and work a hand under the head here, and I'm going to place a reassuring and firm hand on the side, and we're just going to be adjusting upward like so. Alright, 3, 2, 1, and alright, I'm sorry. These can be a bit more, like I said, aggressive, so hang in there. 3, 2, 1. Try to return to neutral slowly and gently. It is helping though. 1, 2, 3. And slow return to neutral. Okay, thankfully that is offering quite a bit of muscular and skeletal benefit. Perfect. How are we doing? Perfect, okay. Alright, let's go ahead and try to check mobility from this position. Alright, that's actually a lot better. That is great to see. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're actually going to turn, flip, and rotate. Alright, let's just make sure that your fox is nice and comfortable. Alright, same thing. Work a hand underneath the head and a supportive hand here on the side. 3, 2, 1, and gently, gently, gently back to neutral. Quick massage. Feel for improvements. Perfect. 3, 2, 1, and gently, 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 gently back to neutral. Quick massage. Alright, 3, 2, 1, and gently, 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 back to neutral. Alright, that is feeling much better. Let me just check once again these leg joints. Alright, that's perfect. And we might just, the tail is definitely a bit tense. We'll get just a quick adjustment here. 3, 2, 1, and one more. Perfect. 3, 2, 1. There we are. Okay. And just for a bit of relief, we'll get just a few quick leg adjustments. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There we are. Alright, let's go ahead and see if we can get your fox back into a more comfortable position. Alright. How are we feeling there? Let's check that mobility. Look how much mobility we've regained just from a brief adjustment. That's great. We'll go side to side. Look at that. That is amazing. So this is basically going to result in a completely rejuvenated feeling for your fox. That pain while foraging and any kind of playful activity, it should be non-existent. And, well, if it is still remaining slightly, it should only be for a day or two, and that might just be residual, just kind of discomfort from the adjustment itself, so that should dissipate rather quickly. Alright, well, I think your your fox should be good to go. So we will send that bill to your information, and I'll go ahead and try to get my table put back together and packed up and sneak out of here quietly. That way your fox can rest. Thank you so much for using our chiropractic services, and please take care.